Hello and welcome to your number one tech show. This is Take on Tech. And today we have a packed up show for you. We have tech news, tech of the week, and Innovators Club. So much for you. You are rightly tuned in. The hashtag is Take on Tech, and my name is Stephanie Ayieta. In today's question of the day, we are asking you, have you fallen victim to spread of misinformation on social media? If so, what's your story? Share with us. We want to interact with you. The hashtag again is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1. In tech news, Binance has offered to teach blockchain to women in Kenya and other African regions. And internationally, the plane carrying Queen Elizabeth II's coffin has been the most tracked flight in history. We have details of this in our tech news roundup. Here it goes.
Blockchain and crypto platform Binance and non-profit Women in Tech have joined hands to close the gender gap in technology. The two organizations are planning to offer more women career opportunities in blockchain. Binance Charity, the philanthropic arm of Binance, has donated $250 to fund a 6-month pilot project to provide blockchain education courses to 2,800 women from vulnerable communities across Brazil and Africa. The funds will play an essential role in empowering women with the knowledge and skills to thrive in Web3 future. The funds will play an essential role in empowering women with the knowledge and skills to thrive in a Web3 future. The first courses will take place in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil and Cape Town in South Africa in October this year. The courses will include blockchain fundamentals, crypto fundamentals, decentralization, Web3, and Metaverse. A hybrid model of distance and in-person learning will be used, and women can train to pursue a career in blockchain regardless of their existing developer skills. The Brazil pilot program will take place in Morro do Prazeres in Rio de Janeiro for the first cohort of 50 women over the course of the following 5 months, and another 300 women will be signed up for the program countrywide. The flight that took the Queen's coffin to London is so far the most tracked in history, according to website Flight Radar 24. Nearly 6 million people tried to follow the plane's route from Edinburgh to Rough Northolt within its first minute in the air. The huge traffic caused disruption to the site, where users can track the paths of planes in the air. More than 4.79 million people watched on its site and app, and 296,000 were watching on a YouTube stream. The previous record was when a flight carrying US politician Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan was followed by 2.2 million people on Flight Radar 24. It attracted interest as she was the highest-ranking American official in 25 years to visit Taiwan, which China sees as a breakaway province. The Queen's coffin was flown on Royal Air Force Globemaster C-17 after lying in the state at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh. The flight used the sign Kitty Hawk, used for any military flight with a Queen on board. Flight Radar 24 said about 600,000 users were able to successfully follow the flight before performance degraded.
Imagine a world where you can talk to plants and be able to diagnose their problems and as such have better productivity. Well, this is already happening for an agri-tech company in the UK. Here's our Tech of the Week feature.
Gardein, an agri-tech company, has found a way in which plants could tell the farmer what they needed. They practice vertical farming, that is growing plants indoors on stacked levels in a highly controlled environment which allows high yields. They have installed sensors that are able to monitor the whole environment. The sensors are able to move around looking for particular leaves. They use optoelectronics to be able to understand how the leaf is performing. It works by combining the image images it collects with machine learning, which has been trained on lots of pictures of plants at various stages of growth. This allows the system to monitor how well the process of photosynthesis is working in each plant, and this tells them how efficiently they're growing. He says they're talking to the plants and the plants are telling them how happy they are. From that, they're able to give feedback to the growers and tell them which crops are performing the best, and then they're able to understand why that may be with the environment around it. Julian Gooding, the lead data scientist at Gadin, goes to say that the beauty of vertical farming is that one has a fine-grained control. What they use the sensors for is to highlight the current status of a plant, then pinpoint on what needs to be done to make the plant perform better, resulting in more food. Their aim is not just to help create more food, they're actually trying to make food better. Sumanta Talakdar, CEO Garden, says the way we measure the value of quality of food today is wrong, explaining that people in the industry decide which tomato is better by simply looking at its redness or how round it is, and absolutely nothing about it coming from a healthy plant or not. One of the projects they are working on with IGS UK is around optimizing basil growth. They are looking at how one can control different wavelengths of light to make basil taste even better. This technology isn't new. Douglas Elder, head of Vertical Farming Solutions IGS, says there's a lot of technology that can do something fairly similar, but it takes a lot of that technology and it's more costly. The beauty of this sensor is that it helps them drive down the cost of overall sensor loads, focus in on the important aspect but in a very controlled, precise way, and most importantly, a very cost-effective way. Bringing together and improving camera technology, integrating machine learning, then applying it to agriculture is an innovative step from Gadin. However, vertical farming is still in its relative infancy.
In today's interview section, we are speaking with Rayhab Gachango. Karibu sana Rayhab.
Thank you.
Rayhab is an online content creator and a blogger. She'll be talking to us about content creation online. Who can create content? What is all this content creation online all about? And other attendant questions. Karibu sana Rayhab, and we go straight to the first question. You as a content creator and someone who is forever online creating content, what do you consider as content creation online, and how is this different from offline?
Content creation, there's all types of content creation online that people don't really think that they're creating content. Whether you're making comments on what someone has done, or whether you're creating memes or doing videos just to entertain your friends. These are all different types of content that we're creating, because we are always online, we are commenting. Sometimes you're commenting on someone's status and your comment is even more funny than that person's status. So we are always creating content, whether we're doing videos, we're doing audio clips, whether we're doing audiovisual content. There's different types of content that's been created every minute that we are online.
Is it then possible for anyone just to create content?
Actually, it is possible for anyone to create content. I always talk about my story, because I started blogging on a feature phone. It was after campus. I was working for a cigarette company. I was a sales rep. And as I did my route, I was actually typing my stories on a feature phone. So those days there were no smartphones. So I didn't have what I have now. I can say that this is like 12, 13 years later. I have a lot more resources than I did at the beginning. And I always tell people, start where you are. Start with your feature phone, start with your bad audio, and when you look back at what you have created, you will see that you've come a very long way. So don't wait to have expensive equipment or wait for some opportune time. The time to start is now.
Okay.
Yes.
Take on Tech takes a short break. And when we come back, we'll continue with this conversation. We'll be particularly interested to hear some of those challenges in content creation. Please continue watching us on our social media handles, and that's at KBC Channel 1. Keep watching. You're watching Take on Tech, the interview section. This is a weekly program that brings you technological concepts and debates and breaks them down in an untech way. And in today's interview section, we are talking with Rayhab Gachango, who is a content creator and a blogger. Now, Rayhab, before we went on a break, you were telling us, the process of, creating content. And as I sat there, I was wondering, what are some of the trends you have observed as you create the content? And then you'll go ahead and give us some of the challenges to content creation.
Okay, I've actually been creating content for more than 10 years, and some of the things that I've seen that are trending is basically things like gossip, things like what is happening around the country. A lot of trending topics is about politics or about gossip, things like that. But for me, I say that if you want to be a long-term content creator, while trending topics is a very important way to capture your audience's attention, I prefer the method of evergreen content. Evergreen content is creating content which somebody can read now or watch now, and even 5 years from now, they can be able to watch or read. And the thing about it is creating balance. It's important to create balance. It's important to, once in a while, do a trending topic, look at what people are talking about, which is part of what we do. For instance, we have a segment called the Singlehood series, where we look at how people have been character developed in this Nairobi as they're dating. So that's a very current trending thing. But we also write long-term content. So I feel that content creators should be able to balance between doing news items, which is things that are trending now, and also creating content that your audience will find value for a long time. 3 months, 1 year, 3 years, and that's what will give you longevity if this is what you want to do for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And what are some of the challenges?
Some of the challenges, one is time. A lot of people want to create content, but they're not sure they can commit the time, because different types of content require different amounts of time. Writing doesn't take so much time, but it does require time in terms of planning, in terms of thinking. But when you're doing stuff like video content or a podcast, it takes a lot of time to plan and arrange how to do things. So time may be a challenge. Another thing is procrastination. A lot of creatives are procrastinators in that they're like, I will do this next week, or next week but one, and then next week but one reaches and you have not started. So I tell people, especially me as a master procrastinator who is trying to become less of a procrastinator, start doing things, small steps. You don't have to do everything at once. Start by doing what you can, do a plan, do small steps. This is what I need to do this week. This is what I need to do next week. And don't keep pushing things, because as you push things, other people, other content creators are coming up and they will do the kind of content that you're doing. Another thing is lack of planning, which we've talked about. We've talked a bit about planning. Planning is important. A lot of people, for instance, go and shoot video without thinking about what is my audience thinking about, what do I need to do when I'm shooting video. So you end up, you need a 15-minute clip and you've shot video for 3 hours. Now you have to condense it into 15 minutes. So have a plan of what you want to do and what amount of time that you need. Another thing is something that some people suffer from is perfectionism. You want everything to be perfect, and because you want everything to be perfect, you keep pushing things because you're like, I don't have the perfect lighting, I don't have the perfect clothes, I don't have the perfect makeup. And that can also be a very big barrier to some people. And the other thing is money. Let's be honest, sometimes creating content does require you to have quite a bit of money. So, but what I say is start with what you have, and as time goes by and you get more and more money, you can be able to do more and more.
When you talk about money, I am thinking about using, say you're creating your own content, like you have a page on Facebook.
Yes.
Or, you know, you're one, like you use LinkedIn and you create. What sort of money really are you talking about? Because you just need a connection.
It depends on what kind of things that you're creating content about. As I said, for instance, a creative writer may not need as much money as somebody who's creating video content. Because video content, for instance, you need to be able to shoot the content, then you need to be able to edit the content and put the content out there, as well as podcasts as well. So sometimes, and also sometimes you need outfit changes. So the outfit is gonna cost money. So there are some things that, as you start out, I say try and work with as little money as you can or with no budget. But as time goes by, you can, as you get more money, you can upscale your operations.
Okay. Is there anything like the need to have a content creation strategy? Is there?
Of course. Of course.
Speak
because if you don't know if you don't have a plan, then what are you measuring? If you don't have a plan, how will you know you've succeeded? Which is why it's important to have a content creation strategy, because your content creation strategy involves things like who will be reading or watching your content, what problems are you solving for your audiences, what content formats will you be using. For instance, are you doing audio, are you doing video, and then what channels are you using? Are you going to do YouTube? For example, there are vloggers or there are podcasters, for instance, who they do audio, but they are also doing video. So for that, you need to be able to plan and think through all the things like video, editing the video and editing the audio as well. And then you also need to think about how will you manage the content after you've created it. So meaning like what platforms is it going to be on? How will you measure success? Because success can be different for some people. For some people, success is I made money at the end of it all. For some people, success is I changed somebody's life. For somebody else, success is 100 people commented on my content. So you need to know in advance what is your measure of success. But you can't do that if you don't have a plan. So you really do need a plan. Because if you don't have a plan, you won't know how to measure success and whether you're actually doing a good job or not.
Okay. Closing remarks?
Closing remarks. I would like to tell people that start now. Don't wait. As I said, I started with a feature phone. Sometimes we overcomplicate things and think that we need a lot of money, expensive phones, expensive laptops in order to start creating content. But you don't. Use your basic camera phone. Let your content be bad at the beginning, but people are like, okay, the idea is sound. The execution, not so much. But as you improve, you will get better and better at it. And 10 years from now or 15 years from now, you'll be amazed at the content that you're creating. Because even when I look back I started blogging on Facebook. And when I look back at some of the things I used to write, I cringe. But I'm like, hey, look at how far I've come. So start now.
Okay. So thank you so much, Rayhab, for gracing the interview section of Take on Tech. And that's it from our interview section today, in which we were looking at online content creation with Rayhab Gachango. My name is Grace Githaiga. Keep watching.
Innovators Club, we have a young entrepreneur who has come up with a unique application connecting its users with their preferred photographers. Elkanah, who is the innovator, prefers to call it an Uber for photographers. Check it out.
Hi guys, my name is Elkanah, founder of Proscrafts. Proscrafts is the Uber for photographers. So with Proscrafts, you can book pre-vetted professional photographers and videographers in less than 3 minutes. So basically what we are trying to solve is, when it comes to you clients, trust is very important. So when you go to social media, for example, when you book someone, you really don't know if they are trustworthy. So Proscrafts comes in and all the service providers that we provide you are pre-vetted. The other thing is, when you want to book a creative or a photographer or a videographer, the process of booking, asking them to send you their portfolio, to send you their packages, it's a very long process. So with Proscrafts, we allow the photographers and the videographers and creatives to upload everything in one place. So when you go to the app, you can view their portfolio, their packages, their prices, all in one place. Then you just add the exact package you want to cut, and then you check out. So I'll give you a demo of how the app works. So when you come to the app, this is the first screen you will see. Then from the first page, you select the service you want. Then the second page, you select the category. Let's say maternity shoot, select your location, Nairobi. So from down here, you can select the photographer you want. In case you know a specific photographer, then you can just click search talent by name, and then you can search for the exact photographer you want. Then from here, so let's go down. Let's say we pick Deep End Studios. Then when you select, it brings you to their page, their profile. On their profile, you can see the services they offer. You can click on this and view their portfolio and packages, and then on the next button to see their available dates. So let's click on view packages and portfolio. At the top, you'll be able to see their portfolios. You go through them, you can check them out. Then at the bottom, you'll be able to see the packages they offer. So from here, you'll be able to just add. So for example, here we've added this package. So you'll just add the exact package you want to cut. Once you do that, you go to cart. In the next screen, which is the cart screen, you just select, you add your phone number. After you've added your phone number, you choose the date of the booking. Once you select the date of the booking, you can choose the location of the shoot in this case. So click on the choose location, accept, give location. Then from there, at this point, you will be done. You'll go back on top, and then from here, you can make your order. So it's simple, easy, and straightforward. So to be able to book with Proscrafts, just visit www.proscrafts.com, and at the top, you'll be able to see a Book Now button. If you're on iOS, you can book through the website. If you're on Android, you can download the app or book through the website.
How did you come up with this particular app?
So I have been a photographer myself for over 6 years. So during this period, I faced a few challenges. So some of the challenges that I faced as a photographer and being in the creative industry, those are some of the things that I try to solve with the app.
All right.
Yes.
And so far, how is the uptake? How are people consuming? How is the consumption?
Yeah, from the people I've had feedback from, they've told me it's pretty interesting. I've gotten a few bookings from it.
Okay.
So the biggest selling point that we are trying to sell to clients is it makes the process that you would normally take, best case scenario, around 2 hours on social media to do, it brings it down to a mere 3 minutes. So that's what we are trying to tell clients. It basically is seamless, fast, and you can view very many different photographers all in one place.
All right. And how do the photographers get on board?
Yeah, so as a photographer, when you go to the website, that's www.proscrafts.com. Then at the top, there's a button, join as a photographer or videographer. So when you click on that, it takes you to a page where you can apply. So you just submit your portfolio, and all the details are there. So you just submit what's there. Then from that place, us in the back end, we go through the application. If you succeed, then you join the app. That's why we have the part of pre-vetting, because we're trying to make it easy for clients to also trust the creatives. Because we've had scenarios where you book a shoot, no one shows up, or you book a shoot, the work I show you is not the work I deliver, or you book a shoot, then you send someone money and they have a moose with it. So we are trying to solve some of these challenges through the app.
Okay, so you can say that it's reliable.
Yes.
And what are you hoping to achieve finally with the application?
So my main goal with the application is to enable creatives, photographers, videographers, and eventually we'll add more creatives to the app. So what I'm trying to achieve and what us at Proscrafts are trying to achieve, we are trying to make it easy for the photographer, for the videographer to be able to manage their businesses more effectively. So on the app, I just showed you the client side.
Yeah.
But if you go on the other back-end side of the photographer and videographer, there's a lot. They can manage their bookings more seamlessly. They can view all their bookings all in one place. They can deal with clients all from one app. So they don't have to, it will enable them not to forget bookings. They won't miss bookings. They'll be able to be on their toes. And then also, through being on the app, they'll be able to be visible to more clients and then getting more jobs in that case.
That surely brings an end to today's show, but the conversation never stops. Today's question, we have asked you, have you fallen victim to spread of misinformation on social media? If so, what is your story? Share with us. We want to interact with you. The hashtag to use is TechOnTech at KBC Channel 1. You can also interact with me at Stephanie_Ayieta. That is on Instagram. And we meet next week, same time, same place. Until then, let's keep it tech. Adios.